In this video, I'll show you how to use JUMP to conduct hypothesis tests for the difference in two population proportions. To do this, we'll be going back to our Help Sample Data menu where we had all those calculators. So you'll find this under the Teaching Resources box, under Calculators. One of the options is Hypothesis Test for two proportions. It's actually the last option. So we'll click on that and again, use raw data if you have a row for every individual in the study. Otherwise, if you just have a summary of the proportion of successes in the sample size, choose Summary Statistics. So here I'll be using the data from the study about whether or not a nicotine lozenge was effective at helping smokers who wanted to quit. Notice here that JUMP is formatting the hypotheses in the form of doing group 2 minus group 1. So when we did it by hand, we said, okay, we're interested in whether the nicotine lozenge proportion of quitters was greater than for the placebo lozenge proportion of quitters. And when we calculated our test statistic, we were doing nicotine lozenge minus placebo lozenge. So because of that, we're hypothesizing that there's going to be a positive difference when you do nicotine minus placebo. And as a result, we're going to enter the information for the nicotine lozenge group is actually going to be sample 2, right? We're doing nicotine minus placebo, and since JUMP formats it as group 2 minus group 1, that makes nicotine lozenge my group 2. So if you remember in this study, we had 82 who used the nicotine lozenge that quit, and that was out of 459 individuals randomly assigned to the nicotine lozenge. And for group 1, I'm going to have 46 individuals who were successfully able to quit out of 458 randomly assigned to the placebo lozenge. Okay. Also notice we want our hypothesized difference to be 0. Okay, so we're hypothesizing there's no difference between the nicotine lozenge and the placebo lozenge. Also, under choose variance, remember how in our standard error in the test statistic, we calculated that pooled estimate of the sample proportion? And we did that because we were assuming there's no difference between the two proportions, and they were both estimating one common proportion. And so because of that, we're always going to be using this pooled estimate of variances under the choose variance option. Okay, and then you want to make sure you've got the appropriate significance level typed in, which here we did in fact use a significance level of 0.05, so we'll just leave that. And then the next step is to reveal the decision. So here under sample 1 proportion, that reveals the placebo lozenge proportion who could quit. And then sample 2 proportion shows the proportion who were able to quit in the nicotine lozenge group, so that was 0.1786. So our sample difference was 0.0782, which led to a z-score of about 0.342 is what we rounded it to, but it's really 3.4171. The z-critical value, remember we're going to ignore that, and then our p-value is 0.0003, which leads us to reject the null hypothesis. So this is how you can get JUMP to do the mechanics of a hypothesis test for two proportions.